Okay, I think people are still joining a bit, but we will get started. So thank you everyone for coming again to day 3 of the meditation challenge. So it's so nice to see everyone, and it's so nice to see everyone just committed to establishing a new habit or a new practice. Because I know it's easy, we read a lot about meditation, it's in the magazines, it's in different books, but we actually have to do it. And I think that's the challenge. You know, we can read about a lot of this stuff, but unless we actually make it a practice, it doesn't really do all that much. So it's great to see everyone here. And as I had mentioned on the first day, it's really my intent that through these 7 days, as we get in the habit of doing it at a set time, that hopefully you continue to do it at 8:30 every morning, or a more preferable time if that works, but that's really the intent. So far we've practiced an awareness of breath meditation on Monday, and that really helped us have a focal point of where to put our mind. And so we learned a little bit that our mind is like a clear blue sky we can think of. So in it, we can find peace. But often our thoughts go back and forth, and those are like the clouds. And we have an option. We can engage with the thoughts, or we can choose not to. And I think sometimes without a meditation practice, we just assume our thoughts are reality, and it just makes us react quickly to one thing or another thing. Whereas in meditation, we realize we can step back. We don't necessarily have to fuse with a thought. We can just let it pass if it's not something that is strengthening us. So sometimes our thoughts are weakening. So it gives us a little bit more space between our thoughts, our reactions, and how we're feeling. And that's really what we're trying to do, is try to find that inner peace. So make those glimpses of blue sky maybe a little bit longer. And then yesterday we did a loving kindness meditation, and that's really to cultivate an energy of kindness and compassion, both to ourselves and to others. And we learned that when we do that, we make the world a better place, we make better social connections, but we also feel happier and we feel more at peace because we feel connected with others. Now today we're going to learn about mantra meditations. So a mantra is a word or phrase that can be repeated over and over again. And mantra literally translates to instrument of the mind, or it's also considered like mind protection. So the thought is that by focusing on a mantra, we free ourselves from all of the thoughts that we're thinking of, like whether something is good or bad, but we can start to find that clear blue sky. So just like the awareness of breath meditation, our focal point was the breath, in a mantra meditation, our focal point is the mantra. So not only does it give us a focus, freeing us from all of our other thoughts, but often mantras too are used to cultivate a particular type of energy or consciousness. And sometimes even just the sound of a mantra can just bring up different feelings of whether it's peace or enlightenment, but just different energies. So a mantra can be a really nice practice to work with as well. Like the other meditations, mantras have been proven to decrease stress, anxiety, anger, but also to improve just the quality of our life, because we'll find a little bit more peace. And in a mantra, when we're not thinking, we're freeing ourselves from aversion or desire, so we stop labeling things as good or bad. And again, that's where we can start to find peace. So we're going to practice a mantra today, but I did want to talk a little bit more about mantra and the mantra that we're going to practice. So often mantras are recited 108 times. So I have a mala bead necklace here, and it has 108. So we're not going to use this, but I did want to introduce you to the concept. So the idea of, in case you want to continue with a mantra practice, the idea is this will help you keep track of how many times you've done the mantra. So you could, each time you say a mantra, you just move your fingers on to a different bead. So 108 is a very spiritual number. It's considered the number of spiritual wholeness. It's also the distance between the sun and the moon and the earth, their diameter, times 108 is approximately the distance of the sun and the moon to the earth. It's also just a very important spiritual number in both Buddhism and Hinduism. So if you like the mantra practice, you might want to consider getting some mala beads to help you keep track. Like I said, we're not going to do that today, but I just did want to introduce you to that in case you want to continue with it. So, take a breath here. Now, the mantra that we're going to be working with today is called Sat, Chit, Ananda. So I wrote that down in the chat box so you guys would have the exact words. So Sat means truth, or the reality of everything. And Chit means consciousness, or our experience of reality. And Ananda is bliss, or complete happiness. So I know that sounds like a lot, but what it really means is my soul exists in complete fulfillment, or my soul exists in complete joy. And really, that's what we're trying to get with. That's what we're trying to uncover with our meditation. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Joseph Campbell. He was a mythologist and author. He has a famed book called The Power of Now. So he actually had talked about this mantra, and he was saying, well, I didn't really know how I could find Sat, complete truth. I didn't really know how I could find Chit, consciousness. He's like, but I could figure out Ananda, bliss. He's like, so you can follow your bliss. And he's actually famed for telling people, you do things that light you up. Similarly, like Eastern spiritual gurus are saying, really, to get to Sat and Chit, truth and consciousness, we need to follow the path of Ananda, bliss. And I really like that because it just reminds us that when we're doing things that light us up, or we're doing things where we find joy in our engagement, that's really when we're connecting with the divine or our higher self. So it's really a reminder of what we are at our true essence, that we are joy, we are truth, and we are knowledge. So even if you don't comprehend like the entire mantra, it's still working. So it's still doing that. And even if Sat and Chit are difficult to comprehend, like it is for all of us, we can follow our path of bliss. So that's really what it's reminding us to do. So we're going to get started with the mantra. So you can just get comfortable in a seat, just like what we have been, maybe shoulders stacked over hips. You can let the palms rest in your lap. We'll take a few moments, just closing your eyes softly and settling in just to focus on the breath. So I always think just starting any type of meditation, when we just start focusing on the breath, starting to bring our mind back into the body, is just a great way to start. So let's just spend a moment here. And you just start by noticing the inhales and the exhales. Maybe even starting to notice part of your body where you can experience the breath. And so for me, it's often I notice the chest as it rises on the inhale and then just falls back down on the exhale. And just connecting breath to body helps me come back to my body. Then we're going to start with the mantra. So again, the mantra is Sat, Chit, Ananda. And it's in the chat box if you just want to see how it's spelled. Pretty much pronounced as it's spelled. And I'm going to say it with you for a little bit, but then I'm going to fade out. And you can continue to repeat it silently or out loud to yourself, whatever you prefer. And I'll remind you on occasion, but just so you don't have to follow my speed or pace, you'll be able to take it on your own. But I'll begin with you, but just so you're not alarmed, when I'm going to slow out, keep going with it. And then I will let you know when it's time to drop the mantra. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. ananda. Sat, chit, 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 ananda. And if you find your mind is wandering to something else, just bringing it back to the mantra, Sat, Chit, Ananda. Continuing on with the mantra, Sat, Chit, Ananda. If you notice your mind is lost in train of thought, maybe what you need to do after, something that had happened previously, just gently, non-judgmentally, bringing it back to the mantra. Sat, Chit, Ananda. For this last minute or two, wherever you are, and just start again, starting fresh. Sat, Chit, Ananda. And you can release the mantra, but stay seated with your eyes closed. And just spend a few moments and feeling any energy that you cultivated. Maybe placing your focus right on your heart center. Imagining a white ball of light there. And considering my soul exists in complete fulfillment. Sat, Chit, Ananda. When you're ready, you can start to open your eyes. Starting to come back. maybe even with your eyes open, just starting to just checking back in with the body and seeing how you feel. And just remembering at your core, you really are Sat, Chit, Ananda. So truth, knowledge, and total bliss. So that was our mantra meditation. Tomorrow we are going to do a body scan meditation. So if you can consider a place where maybe you can lie down comfortably in your home, a body scan meditation can be done seated, but it might be a little bit better to be lying down if you can. You can also have a small pillow for your head. A bed might be too comfortable, you might fall asleep. But a body scan meditation, we're going to talk a little bit about stress, why we feel stress, and things we can do to get our body to relax. So to trigger a relaxation response, which is also much better for our health as well too. And we can do that with a body scan meditation. So that's what we're going to be talking about and practicing tomorrow.